And VJ, you have some troubling times ahead of you, my friend.
I think I might. I'm going to still hold out some hope and some faith, but I think I might. Because I don't like the way
I was about to say, because while we're sitting in for Jason Smith and his best friend, Mike Harmon, VJ's best friend, quarterback, may not be sitting in Miami very much longer.
So my guy, Oos. Yeah, this thing's getting a little out of hand. This deal should have been done. Whether people, I don't care about the fans and Twitter and all that. I'm going by what's been happening. I go by, when it comes to NFL contracts, you are never going to lock me into an argument of what a guy doesn't deserve unless it's something that's astronomically to the left or astronomically to the right. Like Daniel Jones, who's getting $40 million and has a season high of 15 touchdown passes in his career and missed the majority of last season being hurt. He's making $40 million. This will be his last year with the Giants. They'll move on. They'll do some other things for the football New York Giants. But
it sure sounds like it, especially. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. But
yes.
It sure sounds like it from what we've seen behind the scenes.
Yeah, that was a small little tease there, we call it on the radio. But what the Dolphins are bumbling with this contract with Tua, they are treading water and being in the San Diego Charger position when Drew Brees hurt his shoulder. Now, you got Phillip Rivers out of the deal. That makes that decision go away real fast. What we talk about,
but that's like buying a lottery ticket to plan for your retirement.
Yeah, there you go. But the talk of the whole Drew Brees dislocating his shoulder, scoring a touchdown on the goal line, stretching the ball out, at his size, wanting to score, wanting to win for the Gipper, that old Rudy sports attitude, we saw that out of Drew Brees. But then Nick Saban, who now says, oh, well, if we got the quarterback I wanted, you were part of the decision, too. They thought you trusted Dante Culpepper's knee over Drew Brees' shoulder. And that would have changed the franchise. It's the one guy we had a shot at after Marino to change the franchise, and we blew it. Plain and simple. Whoever's decision it was a blown decision, period. You have a chance now for whatever, I don't care what the talking show says or what the fans and Twitter and all that says, put the tape on. If you want to try to talk to me about injury reports, I can tell you the injuries of all the top-paid quarterbacks in the league right now. Joe Burrow did get to a Super Bowl. Yes. He's been to 2 AFC championship games. Yes. So to me, he's excluded a little bit. He's not completely out, but he's also missed half of a season and then most of a season too. So he's also been injured. Justin Herbert, he makes over $50 million. He just missed most of last season too. But I don't hear, injury concerns. If that's going to be what you're going to ride on, you're going to make a brutal mistake here if you're the Miami Dolphins. You have your receivers. You have your running backs. You're rebuilding the line. You have great defensive players. You're going to get Chubb back. You're going to get Phillips back. You've moved on from bad contracts and players that just didn't have it anymore, like Xavier Howard. You clean it up. Christian Wilkins, they don't want to pay $80 million guaranteed dollars. Hey, we offered you 2 contracts. You didn't want them, but no hard feelings. Go ahead to Vegas with the Raiders and do your thing. They have a chance here to lock in their quarterback because, Martin, you know as well as I do, and anybody listening right now and everybody in this studio, if you don't have a quarterback in football, guys, what's your chances? Zero. You have zero chance. You have to pay this guy and stop playing around with it. Now, the reports are, and I don't have numbers, but everything I read, and even Daniel Jeremiah reported for NFL.com that, hey, they're far apart. So I got to know what far is, because far could be $4 million. Far could be $10 million.
I think $4 million would not be as far. If you're reporting,
we don't have the number,
But I'm reading through the lines. I think that far apart would have to be at least starting at a number at least 8 to 10
I was going to say 8 to 10 million, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 8 to 10 million.
Like, there's got to be some level of middle, right?
Yeah.
They're either close, middle, or far. To me, far. Because, if they're offering him $35 million, that's insulting. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy insulting.
That's insulting. So I think if they're coming in somewhere between 40 and 45, then that's about, 10 to 15 apart. That to me is far.
Guys that make in the range of 35, just to throw that number out there. If that's what they offer, we don't have any numbers, but hypothetically speaking, they offer him 35. Baker Mayfield makes 33, Derek Carr makes 37, Aaron Rodgers makes 37. Then it jumps to Daniel Jones at $40 million. You tell me you would take all those guys over Tua Tagovailoa right now, including Aaron Rodgers. You would take all 4 of those guys over him? Absolutely not. You wouldn't. If you're saying that, you don't like the Dolphins or you don't like Tua. That's fine. You're allowed to have that. But when I look at this list once again, I'm looking at Kyler Murray at $46 million, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, $51.52, Justin Herbert, $52. I think a fair contract for him. And this is being a lifelong Dolphin fan and a supporter of Tua. Fair, started about 48, 49. I'm not expecting him to get 55 or 60. But I do understand his quote was the market is the market. He was quoted as saying that, so I believe it was Daniel Jeremiah. The market's the market, and that's where I've always gone with this with receiver. CeeDee Lamb wants to be paid now. Why? Because Justin Jefferson got paid. Jalen Waddle got paid. A.J. Brown got paid last year. It's got to move, even though he's only given Dallas one really good, productive, upper echelon, top flight receiver year in the NFL.
Yeah, we disagree on this one, but CeeDee Lamb has had more than one good year. But
last year I thought he was extraordinary, and I nailed the guy last year. But I can admit he had an extraordinary season. But I don't know if you get paid off of that. But the market's the market, and if he's up, you have to pay the market. This idea that we pick and choose who we want to pay for the market, that really gets to me. The Dolphins have to stop playing around with this. I just wish, Mark, once again, I had a number and I searched and I can't find it because, of course, they're not going to leak that out. What are they offering him? That's what I got to hear before I can make a judgment. Oh, okay, Tua, maybe this is on you and your age. Are you serious, Dolphins? Are you serious, Greer? Are you serious, Ross? This is what I wouldn't take that neither. Are you kidding me? MVP candidate last year all season long, played all 17 games, which people question. He did it, led the league in passing yards, led the league in 2 or 3 other top quarterback. Like, what else do I got to? Oh, he's got to go win. Okay, did you guys tell Trevor Lawrence that? Does Trevor Lawrence got to go win? He just got paid, and his career record is 20-30. He's 10 games below 500 as a starting quarterback, and he's making over $50 million. So don't tell me what a guy's got to do. That's never how
different front offices run in different ways. And what was the list? You had it just up. Do you still have it up?
Yeah, I got it right here. All right, Burrow.
Because you had the ones that are in the 35 to 40
I got you
range.
right here. I got you right.
Baker Mayfield. Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr.
And then it leaps to 40 at Daniel Jones. Any of those 4 guys you taking over Tua right now? Any of those 4 guys?
Well, it depends. It's how much drugs has Aaron Rodgers done in the last 6 weeks? A minimal amount, or
because he's doing wild. But I think prove my point. Are you taking any of those guys over Tua Tagovailoa right now?
You know what? All those guys have, except for Derek Carr, playoff win. In the last 2 years.
And you know what? But once again,
and I'm not. I
know you're not. I'm not going to defend it.
4 for Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers, you would think, played a whole season, is capable of playing a playoff game.
But my thing is, I'm not defending that part of it. All I'm saying is, okay, then stay consistent, because if that's the key, if that's the barometer, Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game, and he makes over $50 million, and he missed most of last year. My thing is, just stay consistent and say it across the board. Please don't give me the flip, flam, and fluff of going up and down depending upon who we're talking about. That's my problem. That's why I go with, hey, the market's the market. You can say what you want to say about the guy, but if you run the risk of letting him play out this contract, let's just say, Martin, 12-5, all right? 12-5, win the division. I think 12-5 wins the AFC East, whether it's going to be them or the Bills. 12-5 wins the AFC East. You get a home wild card game, win that game, get to a division game, all right, and you lose. And he goes, listen, I played all 17 again. I got a playoff win, our first since 2000, the longest running team, I believe, in the NFL now, from their last playoff win. I believe it's my beloved Miami Dolphins. Because Detroit won, because Detroit won there. So they're off of it now. So now we got that off the schneid. We got that off the record. And now you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go test free agency. I can do that. I'm a free agent. I'm going to go test free agency and see what else is out there. There will be teams.
In a world where Kirk Cousins, at 36 years old, off of a ruptured Achilles, got $100 million guaranteed, I think 120 over the last 4 years. What do you think that a Tua Tagovailoa could pull down on the open market?
He definitely would be over 50. Definitely. If I'm just hypothetically, if he has this type of year again, 17 games, top MVP, a candidate again, leading the league in category again. Now it's back-to-back years. Absolutely. One of these teams struggling looking for a quarterback. One of these bottom dwellers struggling looking for a quarterback with a lot of cap room. Absolutely. He'll definitely would get $50 million. Anybody that doesn't believe that, trust me, you're killing yourself. But once again, I'm speaking of a hypothetical 2024. Now, if he goes into 2024 and he craps the bed, all bets off the table. Okay. All bets off the table. Oh, dude, I'm going to give it to you. Real, all bets off the table. But if he goes and Miami's in the playoffs, again, that's 3 straight years. To the playoffs, 3 straight years. And if they somehow, once again, win the division, so they get a home wild card game and they win a wild card game. Okay. Now, they get a wild card game at home and they lose that wild card game. All right, this is on you, Tua. Now the front office has a way to back out and go, hey, yeah, got us to the playoffs again, buddy. But is he the guy? The narrative would be, God, is he the guy to take Miami over? We'll get that type of narrative. So it's in his hands. I just think the Dolphins are playing a very, very bad game of chicken right now. Jacoby Brissett makes more than at the quarterback position right now for the Patriots than Tua Tagovailoa.
Well, I mean, the question is not should he be in extension talks. The question is at how much, right? So obviously he needs to get a raise.
48. It's got to start at 4. It's got to start at 48. It's got to start at 48. Deshaun Watson, 46. Kirk Cousins, 45. Kyler Murray. Nobody likes Kyler Murray. You guys out there, you guys don't big him up. 46 million. Jalen Hurts, who I love. Lamar Jackson, who I love. And then Justin, Jared Goff, Trevor Burrow. All good, dude, all good quarterbacks. But come on, man. I'm looking at under 50. Jalen Hurts is at 51. Yeah, Kyler's at 46. He can't get Kyler. He can't get more than Kyler Murray.
But I think that's a wide gap. What did we say? 10 million. We determined.
You're right. That's why I need to know the number.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta know the number.
The Jalen Hurts number. He went to a Super Bowl. It's hard. Like,
yes.
It's basically when you
Lamar's
see
the 2-time MVP.
When you see a deal like what Trevor Lawrence has, they are betting on the potential, right? They're betting on the potential.
Yes.
They like, look. You had Urban Meyer year 1.
Yep.
You had, we're building something here, so to speak, whatever. That's how Jacksonville talks themselves into it.
Last year he got hurt, so then they kind of fell off. Yep. After
Very
the
similar to when Derek Carr was on his rookie deal. The Raiders talked themselves in. Okay, let's just go ahead and lock this up. And you know what? For better or for worse, they had a quarterback for a decade.
Yep.
They had a quarterback for a decade. That's what they're betting on.
And he had an MVP season. He broke his ankle in week 13. He can't. He can't help that.
I wonder. If that's they just think this to me is a tacit kind of like Tua, we don't know if you're that guy.
All right, well, okay, and I get that part of it, but that's a dangerous game of chicken in the NFL at the quarterback position. If you gotta lock a guy, so if he leaves, so say they don't pay him and Tua leaves, what do we do? You're stuck back to the beginning. You're stuck back drafting a guy. You're set back another 3 to 5 seasons. Now, you think Tyreek's going to like that? You think some of these other veterans, the guys that are kind of in them, Jalen Ramsey, you think he's going to want to stay there knowing that, oh, well, we're rebuilding again?
Well,
Mike McDaniel will be fired the next year.
There's a couple teams that have not had too much trouble drafting quarterbacks. We'll ask who can stop this one. Kind of got lucky in the draft, in my opinion, in the NFC. Coming up next, Jason Smith and the Mike Harmon Show, Martin Weiss and VJ Husky filling in.